Hello and good morning, YouTube. It is Sunday, October 8th, 2023, 1:44 p.m. You know, my morning. It's functionally my Monday at MLS, although it's the last day of the pay period for my work week. So there's that. I really do think my last payment from them was not all there, although I'm sure there's nothing I'll be able to do about it today. I just don't think the right people are in the MLS office that can do anything about it. So today I just work, and the only downside being I don't know how much I can go over. Like, for me, the goal at MLS is to get 40 hours a week. They don't like to pay overtime. If you end up getting overtime hours without them having specifically asked you, hey, stay for this, it's problematic. But I've been given the go-ahead that if I've got less than 32 hours coming into Sunday, because I'm scheduled for 8 hours on Sunday, so on top of 32, 8 would bring me right up to 40. If I'm, hang on, let me check the math on that. 32, yeah, okay. I've been watching some YouTube videos where people come up with some really bad math. Specifically, Adam Gilligan lately has had some unbelievable math faux pas in his videos. And I might link a couple in the description. Also, I saw a really good one on a short this morning put out by Caleb Hammer, where a kid was talking about how many hours he worked a week and how much money he made a week at Taco Bell. And that was like the primary discussion in the comment section, was just how, yeah, there's no way that math was right. And how, because I think the guy was saying he was working 160 hours a week and was bringing home $3,000 a week working at Taco Bell, and yeah, that doesn't math. So anyway, how did I get on the subject of things that don't math and bad math? Oh yeah, so going into Sunday at MLS, 32 hours, 8 hours remaining. So I kind of need to be cognizant of how many hours I have less than 32, so I know how much I can work above that to get myself right up to 40 hours and my maximum paycheck that doesn't get me in trouble for hitting overtime. And I used to do that sort of thing with Amazon all the time, and the thing wasn't not hitting overtime. The thing was hitting not going over 60 hours, and I'm not sure if that's based on an Arizona labor law. I believe it is. It could be just based on Amazon policy, but I know it's a policy that they made a big deal out of and often overreacted about, to the point where if there was any chance of me going over 60 before the end of a shift I was currently working, I'd get drugged down to HR, or some manager that I didn't know would come and tell me, well, you got to leave at blah, blah, blah time. And usually the time they would tell me was not the correct time that I needed to leave, but they were just so paranoid about me overstepping it. And every time when I pushed the envelope on that, it always came out to, well, just make sure you don't go over 60 hours. I'm like, yeah, I got that. And it was easy to keep track of with the Amazon A2C app. Yeah, here at MLS, not so much. Now, there is an HR app, and I really need to know how to use it. And as you notice, it got dark. And I'm like teleported over here. Yeah, phone cut me off as I was shooting video on the way to work, which resulted in an unusually large amount of me talking to myself and not recording it. So that's fabulous. So I'm having trouble remembering what I did and didn't get recorded, but I do know I was talking about trying to get on the P.O. Please HR app, which is not called that. It's called something else. I can't remember what it's called, but Yeah, I haven't managed to do that yet. There's probably a good chance I won't manage to do that before the end of my shift. But that was a creative U-turn. So tonight's been all right at work. One of the leads, and I'm just realizing more and more, I'm clueless as to the whole management hierarchy here at Hertz and at MLS. I just make a point to avoid Jesse because he makes me uncomfortable, and it's that low IQ, poor communication, poor observation, poor decision making that I've observed so frequently. And when I'm around people like that, I find I can't communicate well with them, I can't work with them. So I try to avoid it because of that. I mean, case in point, he came up to me the last shift I was working on Thursday night, flags me down like he's got something important to tell me. I'm like, oh, okay. And I know in my head this is going to be annoying because it's Jesse, and it's always annoying when it's Jesse. And he's telling me, well, you need to make sure you have your seatbelt on and make sure you're not driving fast because there's a VP in town, something like that. And that's not a reason to do those things. Those are things you should be doing at all times because it's the safe thing to do and it's the correct thing to do. You shouldn't suddenly change your behavior because somebody with authority is present and might catch you. And he strikes me as a sort of low IQ person who doesn't do things they're not supposed to do out of fear of being caught, as opposed to doing the right thing to do simply because it's the right thing to do. So, yeah, people like that bother me. They just straight up do. And of course, the fact that he would take the time to tell me something so nonsensical bothered me even more, because if he'd been observing whatsoever, he'd notice that I never ever driving there without my seatbelt on, and I'm never speeding. So why would you tell somebody to stop a behavior that never at any time exhibits that behavior? It's absolutely nonsensical. But that's the sort of nonsensical things that low IQ people say. And that's why I'm baffled that they put him into such a high position, whereas they haven't even offered me any positions like that. And I know they're looking for people like that because I saw a listing for a lead and management role at MLS on my shift. I'm tempted to, just as sort of a passive-aggressive way of hinting at the fact that, hey, maybe you guys should be approaching me about this position. I'm tempted to apply through the offer that was given to me through the ZipRecruiter app. Speaking of the ZipRecruiter app, another fun thing that it offered me yesterday, or maybe the day before, is my old job at Williams Sonoma Furniture, but through a different staffing agency. It wasn't through K-Power, it was through somebody else. And part of me is like tempted to go down there and talk to him and say, hey, you know, my health is a whole lot better now. But it's still the same hours, and that shift made me absolutely miserable. And it's still the same pay, which would be adequate if it was 410s as opposed to 5/8s. And it's still way longer of a commute than wow, what an obnoxiously large car, or loud car. I mean, I really hate loud vehicles. Wow, and it smelled bad too. Anyway, yeah, yeah, it'd still be a very difficult commute. I'm not trying to be driving any more than I absolutely have to right now.